So I don't remember where we last left off. We'll just start anew. Richard, this is Richard's Rod and Classics, right here in Barberville, Kentucky. But what I'm working on right now is the fuel system for the 55 wagon LS swap. And right now I'm not really doing anything important. I was looking for the gasket for it, which seemed to for some reason not come with it. So I'm going to make my own. And if you're an old school guy like me, you know, this is gasket material. And really, not a lot of people use this anymore. I do because some stuff you just can't get gaskets for. And also, sometimes if you're in a pinch, let's say it's 1 o'clock in the morning on a Friday and you're finishing up your hot rod to get to the car show that starts in the morning, this could be a lifesaver. This could be your water neck gasket. This could be your, this could be your carburetor gasket. It's all that, impregnated paper or whatever it's made out of, whatever. But yeah, this could be a lifesaver, and I'm making a gasket for the fuel pump on the 55 wagon, and this is all the thing I got. I even went and checked the old one because I was thinking, hey, maybe it's got the rubber gasket on it. It didn't. So our only option is to make a new one. The other one was actually made out of cork, and cork is even older than this stuff. But you can't really find cork much anymore. This is basically all you can find. So I'm going to use this, make us a gasket, put a very thin schmooge of RTV on this, and make sure this thing seals real good. I might have to split this, actually, the gasket, just to get it over the fuel pump. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So where I had turned this into an electronic fuel pump, I'm gonna probably not be able to get this 1 5/8 hole to fit over all of this stuff and all the way up to here on the gasket seat. So I might just have to put a slight angled slit in this. You put an angle slit, and when I put the RTV on it, I can put it up there and drill my holes for my screw bolts, whatever this thing calls for, because it didn't have it in it. But I'm just going to cut this out, and we're going to put it on real quick. Alright, so I used the vacuum and a piece of rubber hose, sucked out the tank, if anything else was in there. Put the pump in. This is my only power. Right here, this gray wire, that's my pump power. This is universal ground. I can put it on whatever. I'm going to put my 3/8 fitting on here, which is a 3/8 to 6 AN fitting on this end right here, which is just an adapter. I got over here in my bag. Not in my bag, but in my box. Ah, come on. It's hard to pick crap up one-handed. Oh, God, I forgot to pop my arm. Okay, let's see here. I believe this is it. No, that is not it. I have a 3/8. Is this it? Nope, that's for fuel pump. That is not it. Ooh, I had a 3/8 in here. That's not it. Those are ferrule fittings. I'm just looking for a 3/8. I've got a 3/8 quick coupler in here somewhere. I did order those, didn't I? I hope I did. This is 3/8 for the fuel line. I only need one of those somewhere. I'm having a brain fart right now. Let me see if I can't find it. It's just a 3/8 hardline to -6. It should be like this, but this is for the PTFE line, and I need it to the hard line, so that is what I'm currently looking for. No. Maybe I put them in another box. Let me find that. We'll bolt it on here, and then the tank will basically be completely done. Alright, so what I'm working on today, besides staying warm, is push rods and rockers and everything. This one's wicked nasty from where it had sat for so long. So what I'm doing is I'm taking just a regular piece of green Scotch-Brite and some brake cleaner and just knocking all that nasty built up stuff off. Then I'm oiling the end, dropping it down through, and oiling the tip. And I'm also making sure, if I can do this, that it's clear and it don't look bent. None of these look bent. I don't know why the motor was in the junkyard. Maybe the actual trans or whatever went out. But anyway, yeah, that's all I'm doing right now. We'll get this baby together and we'll go from there. Alright, so I got all that back together. I'm going to put some plugs in it. I will have to paint these manifolds. I'll pull them off. They're as cast hookers, so. But I'm just trying to seal the motor back up because it's, you know, basically the rainy season here in Kentucky. And it puts a lot of moisture in the air, which is why those are rusted already. It's surface rust. It ain't like full-blown rust. But I just want to seal this motor up just in case. So that's what I'm working on right now. I thought I ordered the TR55s, which is what I put in everything, but they actually sent me the iridiums, or I didn't read it right, and it was iridiums. Because these are like 120 bucks. And I paid $30 for all 8 iridiums. So either they screwed up and sent me iridiums, or I don't know. But yeah, we're going to put those bad boys in here, which means this motor is going to last a long time before it needs another set of plugs. I actually pulled a set of factory iridiums, Delcos, out of my 02 Impala the other day when I did the tune-up on it. And they had 140,000 miles on it, and they were just like 10 thousandths out of gap. So, but they were still good. I actually kept them. I think these are right here. Let me see here. Yeah, these are the AC Delco factory iridiums, and they're still good. That's why I kept them. You never know. You use them in a lawnmower or whatever. But I'm just gonna throw the plugs in here and probably get the balancer on so the motor's completely sealed, and we'll start on something else after that. Alright, plugs are in, and now we just got to put the balancer on. But I'm going to have to wire wheel the crap out of the balancer and paint it. All the coils are going to have to be pulled off, cleaned. The brackets are going to have to be painted. There's still a lot of little bitty things. Balancer, coil. I didn't even check the Terminator yet to see, like, what comes with it. I don't know if there's sensors and everything. I need to check that soon, because if it comes with different sensors and stuff I need to change it like now, especially before I put the starter on, because there's a what is that, the crank, or crank sensor, crank sensor. It's all the ways back behind the starter. Well, you can't even see it, it's back there. Anywho, but let's continue on. So it is stupid cold out right now. We're supposed to get a lot of snow, but I'm back in the garage trying to get some work done. I'm getting ready to go through the Holley Terminator harness and figure out the power for the fuel pump, as in what connector, if I need to go get a weather pack connector for it. I know that it connects somewhere in the harness, but you know, not everything's labeled exact. So I want to definitely find it, which I'm betting right here. This red and white wire is my fuel. It's probably my fuel and my grounds. Maybe it's just my fuel. But I need to figure that out so I can solder in a length of wire to the back to where I can put a weather pack connector for the pump. So that way the pump is, you know, easily removable if ever anything happens. Other than that, I need to jack the car up so I can get the tank in sort of where it's going to make my PTFE lines and start running them forward to get the fuel done. And then once the fuel's done, the drive shaft is angled straight and the trans mounts drilled and bolted in. we're going to be on, like, you know, starting to wire, starting to, you know, completely assemble the motor after I finish cleaning and painting everything. Yeah, it should start going pretty quick after I got the tank back in and the fuel lines made. Those are probably my biggest tasks left, because PTFE lines for me suck to make. I know other people are like, oh, they're easy. I ain't had a good way with them yet. Always bleeding fingers. But let me show you what's going on here. This is what $2,000 poly looks like. So in a box the size of a boot box, like you'd get a pair of boots in, you got your main harness here. Everything again is marked and labeled. Cylinder head ground, you know, everything else, map sensors, throttle sensors, whatever. Trans connector is completely different and separate, which means I'll have to figure that out. I don't know what this wiring goes to, unless this is like a speedo wiring. I don't understand why it would be not have a plug on it of some kind. We also have injector harness, which they are individual, so you get your own like harness that's for your injectors, which is cool, because, you know, if there's ever a problem, you can replace just that. You know, we got new O2s, the monitors. What is this? This is the, I would guess, the starter wiring, or the main power supply for the Terminator itself. Yeah, but there's other stuff in here. I don't know what that goes to. The Terminator itself, and then the book, which is actually what I'm digging for. I need the book because I need to figure out where the main power goes, so I can create a connector, weather pack connector, and hook it up to the rest of the harness. Or should I say, where I can hook it up to that harness and to the harness on the fuel pump. And the reason I want them together on a weather pack is, God forbid anybody ever has to pull the fuel pump out of this thing, because it was not easy to get in there. I'll be able to, or they'll be able to unhook it. So, woo, fuel pump 7.1. 7. Fuel pump lines, terminals. I don't need that. I just need the harness, the wiring for the fuel pump. They're showing me how to set up the fuel pump. I don't need to know how to set up the fuel pump. I need to know item number 6. Input output harness, okay. Item main harness, LS1, UV6 choke harness, 56B. 56B? Oh, it's 5B. Yeah, okay, harness separate, okay. I just need the fuel pump wiring. Unless it's literally just a keyed 12 volt on a relay for the wiring they want me to use. Temp, OBD, fuel pressure. What is this? I always want the... So I saw this on the harness yesterday, and I've never seen a plug for a fuel pressure. So... okay, it's an extra thing, so that's good. Knock, knock, crank cam, map. Work, fingers, come on, open the book. EV6, throttle position sensor, idle air control, injectors, additional outputs, electric fan. I don't know if I have an electric fan. Air conditioning, don't need that. Idle air control kick input, I don't know. Harness. It's supposed to be a plug and play harness to this motor, not this car. So I don't know if there's even a wire for the fuel pump power. So that's sort of what I was looking for, because if I just have to make a like self-contained harness that would feed power to said pump, which ain't no big deal. It's just a lot more wires to run. Warning, 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 warning. Do not use silicone on O2 sensors. Who on earth would do that? Well, that ain't showing me jack squat. So let's, I'm going to pull this harness out and sort of stretch it out and look at it from that point. Well, it took me a couple of minutes of reading here. So this is your ignition switch, which tells, you know, your everything to turn on. Your red is your keyed hot. Your black, of course, is your ground. But these, once keyed, enable your relay, and these are your freaking fuel pump wires. And it's weird because it says the red is just a direct to the battery. That's what it says. But the green is direct power to the fuel pump, which is weird, okay? It's a direct 12-volt battery. Connected directly to the battery. This powers the fuel pump. Powers the fuel pump and fuel injectors. Are to be protected by a fuse sealed in the fuse holder. This fuse holder reinstalled 20 amp, which I'm guessing is this fuse holder, pre-installed. But the green direct power a fuel pump. Do not use this wire to power fuel pumps that require over 15 amps. Refer to fuel pump manufacturer. Okay, but it says optional. They don't make any sense. Maybe it's optional if your car's already got a fuel pump wire. It don't really say, which is weird. But I believe, yeah, this is the power for all of the injectors and everything, and this is the power I need to run to the fuel pump itself. The blue wire, I have no clue. I didn't even see the blue wire. Tack output. How frig would you have a tack output? You don't need no tack. This ain't that kind of stuff. But yeah, so there we go. Anyway, power, ground, ignition. For some reason the battery that, I don't know why it comes out of here. Oh, it probably 12 volts into here, main power. And then the red wire triggers it to turn on the green wire. So yeah, okay, I think I figured it out now. It's been a while since I've done relays. But anywho, yeah, blue wire tack, green's going to the fuel pump, red's to the battery. Which, what does this connect? What is closest to this? This is going to be the computer. Man, that's like on the other side of the vehicle. That's going to suck. But okay. I have to run more power wires. I'm definitely going to have to run a lot longer lead for the fuel pump. That's probably like freaking 4 foot, if that. Let me see here. Oh God, hold on, that's probably 2 foot. Yeah, and it's got to come from that side probably all the way down, all the way back. So I have to get like 12 foot of good power wire. We got plenty of wire over there, so that'll be our power for that. All right, got that figured out. Definitely need a weather pack connector, so I'm gonna have to go get one of those. But for now, let's jack this beast up, get it on jack stands. So I have my fuel out and return on this one roll right now because I need to figure out where I need to put it, and then I'll cut it. I gotta make 4 more connectors here. I gotta make the connectors to the fuel and the out. So this is a Corvette regulator. So in, return, out. So nothing special here. Just gotta figure out where I want to mount it, which is gonna mount like this, upside down to the frame. And we just gotta figure out how far down, make the lines, hook them up, run everything, bolt it on, and then make this one and the one all the way up front on the fuel rail, which is a different, this fitting right here. Yeah, this is a 3/8 with a nipple fitting. So this fitting, ow, my knees, sorry, I'm getting old. But yeah, this fitting goes on here. You see, you got to have the style that's got the little clip on it there. That's usually what has a clip. These bolt on though. Yep. Well, where'd it go? Here it is. But give me 1 second. I'm trying to get it open here. This style has like a little, I don't even know what you'd call it, retainer. Like this. This goes onto your line. If I can get the hose out of the way for you guys, you can see it goes on your line. Then your actual fitting goes on. Then you re-screw this into your line, you tighten it up, and that's your adapter. So that one's done. I ain't figured out where. Does the frame come close enough? Well, if the frame comes close enough, I'll run it up that way as long as I keep it away from the exhaust. But I ain't figured out where exactly yet. The wiring's coming, the fuel lines are coming, you know, stuff like that. So it's everything you got to figure out as you go. Some people who have done this a million times in like the same setup, they can literally put all that stuff together before the motor even goes in because they know. They've done the same setup, but every setup I've done has been different. Because we did, let's see, I did a Caprice, an S10, this, a 66, a C10, a 79 C10. So, doing a couple of them now. S10's been the hardest so far, guaranteed. So today, basically, I've been under the car, getting it all ready, and I've been making my lines. These are PTFE lines. I absolutely hate making these, and I was actually making them wrong. I mean, they were still fine, but I was making them wrong. I was cutting back the nylon and the braided steel, then putting the ferrule on, then putting the, you know, the whole thing together. But you don't have to do that. You just got to flay this open a little bit. Don't spread it like crazy, but just sort of wiggle it around and open it up, and then put your ferrule on. Spray a little lube on your fitting, push it together, put a wrench on here and spin it and push it down at the same time. It'll pop right on. And then, you know, it makes a better fitting, cleaner. Because my other ones were sort of coming off back here, and they don't look too great, but they'll work still. But that's the right way, I guess. It's the right way I'm going to do it. So, it's, once again, time to restart here. Because the winter just seems to be going like, hi, enjoy this beautiful sunny day and almost 60 degrees, which you can't see out the door right now. But, it's real nice and warm. And then, literally, 2 minutes later, it's 25 degrees and snowing again. So I can't really get anything done. And also, I understand you guys watching right now, those of you who do still watch. My videos are a lot more talking than doing. And the reason is, it's real hard for me to set everything up, do what I gotta do, then reset, continue doing what I gotta do, and then reset, continue what I gotta do. I don't have, like, you know, the ability to pay somebody to come and film me. Basically is what it is. I understand somebody's going to be like, well, Derek and Vice Grip Garage, they do it. Yeah, but he's probably got like a giant, like, you know, $600-700 camera or something like that. I'm using a phone. Yeah, so I'm doing what I can with what I got. Not bashing anybody else. You know, they have better equipment than I do. I once had, you know, it's actually really difficult also to set up, like, I have a camera, a video camera, and it's really difficult to set it up, get a good shot, and work at the same time. Because, let me show you, I'll show you real quick, check this out. So, imagine I've got this on the tripod, and I'm working on pulling these manifolds. Well, right here's a good shot, but it's kind of where I need to be. So if I set you over here, you're not really seeing anything. You get what I'm saying? And I can't take the manifolds off from right here because everything's in my way. Now the other side, that's, you know, a given that it's easy because I can put it anywhere because there's nothing here. Like, literally, there's nothing here. But I'm just trying to explain why there's a lot more talking than actually doing, where I'm actually doing stuff and not showing you. But anywho, just like I said, now I gotta crawl under the car. Hopefully my light has power still. We're gonna try to put this tank in. We're also going to wire up the fuel mechanism. I found the wire for it under there. I just gotta strip it, crimp on end on. I put a spade on it so that way if anybody ever has to remove the tank, God forbid, they can just unclip that, unbolt the ground, and then the power wire. Did I put a spade on the power wire? I think I did put a spade on the power too. I put a weather pack on the power wire. But I already got my lines made. I gotta bolt them back on before I put the tank in, so that way they're past where it needs to go, because I'll never get to it if I don't. But I got my return. I got my inlet side. This is again a 94 Blazer fuel pump. It's skinny, and you can force it in through these little holes like that. And like on the 66 C10 I did, you can force them in the holes on that. But I need to try to hammer this out to the point where I can start hooking up the Holly, hooking up brakes, and then, you know, we'll start slamming stuff out real quick. This is the biggest deal right now. The next biggest deal is I need to put a starter on. I have the starter, I think. Yeah, there's the starter, I believe, which I'll test it beforehand. I need to put the coil packs on. I got new wires in here somewhere. Right there, new wires. So let's go on. And what else needs to go on? The harmonic balancer needs to go on. It's not a harmonic balancer, it's just a pulley on these. They're not really much of a balancer. All that crap needs cleaned. It needs to go back on because I have to figure out how to hook up the power steering lines to this. And the alternator, of course, I need an alternator. And that bracket needs painted. So there's going to be a lot of little bitty things going on to make... Let me make sure my tongue's not in the way here. To make sure things are going smoothly. Lots of little cleaning. Lots of little this, lots of little that. But anyway, yeah. Still haven't got the radiator for it yet. The owner of the car has it, so I'll just have to go and get it. But we're not ready for that yet anyway. So we still got quite a bit of stuff to do. Water pump's got to go on. I already ordered a new setup for that. It's got to get cleaned and painted. What else? Yeah, but anyway, let's get busy. It's been 5 minutes of me gabbing on here. Let's get my big old body under this thing and start. I gotta twist the mount, not the mount, the hanger for the fuel tank. I gotta twist it straight and find some nuts. I already did. I see them now because I was already out here last week. But nuts are right there, so they fit the lines. I just gotta get it straight, put my lines on here, and throw it up under there. Well, as you can hear, I got the heat on again. It gets cold in here at night. But fuel tank is in. It's bolted in. I've got the ground bolted to the frame. I've got the hoses, or not hoses, the lines ran forward to the filter. The filter is bolted on. The lines are there. Got the forward line right here. I've also got the wiring ran forward for that for the fuel pump trigger. But yeah, this section back through here is done. Tomorrow I'll jack up the front, and I have to bolt the transmission mount I made to the frame, and then I have to finish running my fuel line forward and the power line. And at that point, I can figure out where I want to put it on the firewall, like the fuel line, where I'm going to make it go. Because, oh god, I'm sorry. I ate dinner and came out here, and that's the hardest thing to do as a mechanic, is to eat dinner and then come back to the garage. I'm thinking I'm going to run it probably about where these brake lines come up through, and then have it come over here and probably put something to hold it under the booster, and then I'll have it come up and connect to this, which is my other fitting. I don't want to run a 90 on there. I think I have another 45, which would work pretty good to come down that way. That's about what I think I'm going to do with that. The power wire for the actual trigger, I don't know where everything's going to land. I know the battery's going to be here, but I don't know where I'm putting everything else. So I don't know exactly where that's going to go yet. Get the hammer out of the way before I forget it's there. But I need to untape all this, and again, I still need to paint them headers. I ain't done it yet. I wanted to get that crap done where I got to lay under the car. I hate laying under the car. Okay, but yep, that's it for tonight. And tomorrow we'll work on, again, mounting the transmission mount and running the rest of the fuel line forward and the power for the fuel pump. And at that point, we can start continuing on putting the motor together, and I got to put the starter on, stuff like that. But anyway, that's tomorrow. Alright, we got the car jacked up in the front now. Got the headers painted. Nice flat black. This is VHT flat black, by the way. When this stuff, excuse me, heats up, it'll, coat on there real good. This right now is just like a bare, just painted. Gonna put them back on, but I got the front jacked up. You're going to slide under there and put some jack stands under it. The whole car will be off the ground. Man, I tell you, the more I look at this car, the more I wish it was my car, man. Just, it's got that Ghostbusters ambulance feel to it, but it's not. It's, a work car. What would you call it? A handyman car is what they used to call them. And Chevys, the handymans and the nomads and the deliveries. I just love this thing. Can't wait to get it to the point where I can drive it. It's not too far off now, but I got to slide under there. Got to drill the holes and bolt the mounts for the transmission. Make sure it's in line with the rear end, so that way it don't bind or hit or anything. I have to finish running my fuel power lines under there. And yeah, but I'm going to clean this up real quick, get the crap out of my way so I'm not rolling around like a piggy in some dirt. And we'll slide up under there. Okay, so I was just under here, and I'll show you what's going on. I had to actually jack up the transmission, which tilted the motor forward, which actually probably made it even look even better in there. To be honest with you, it was kind of like that before. But I'm trying to get the angle of the drive shaft right, so that way, 1, the drive shaft will fit, and 2, it won't hit nothing, and 3, you got to have a good pinion angle. But let me squeeze my fat body between the wall and the car here. Okie dokie. Now, let me see. Alright, I don't know if you can tell, but up there's the drive shaft, right? Or, well, the back of the transmission. The transmission's got to be pulled this way about a 1/2 inch, and it's up pretty good right now. Hold on one second, let me zoom in. Okay, a little bit better for you. You can see where it's at. If I line the camera up, well, it's kind of impossible to do, but if I line the camera up with the rear end, you can see it's off a little, and I knew it was. I'll pull it back this way with a ratchet strap before I mount it, because it's just rubber, and that's all it's holding. You know, the front mounts to keep it straight. But anywho, yeah, I'm going to have to put a different yoke on this drive shaft to bolt into that trans, because it's once on here is like this big. For reference, it's like that big, and I wouldn't trust it for nothing. So, but I jacked the transmission up, and I'm gonna have to put about a 1/2 inch spacer on the frame mounts that are up here, and probably about a 1/2 inch spacer on the actual trans mount itself to bring it up, because before it was like right here, which means it would hit everything. So I got to get a yoke, and I've got to make some spacers. I think I have some pipe, or not pipe, but tubing I can make the spacers out of, and that'll get that. And by the way, check this out. This is where the gas tank is. It hugs the spare tire tunnel, and then it rides the frame down through here. It's weird. Never seen nothing like it. That's already fully up in there with the fuel pump on it. But I'm going to call it a night, because I'm probably going to have to go get some stuff tomorrow for this. And yeah, I'll have to get some grade 8 bolts and nuts. Everything I do, I try to put grade 8 on, especially transmissions. Right there you can see the fuel filter right there, and the PTFE lines, and the ones are all running forward. But I will have to cut the e-brake off of this, because the e-brake was actually smacking the bottom of the where the drive shaft yoke would have been. It's automatic anyway, which you don't need an e-brake. And right there you can see how much this car has been drastically dropped. Big 'em. I mean, those are probably 5-inch drop blocks, which in my opinion, I would not put drop blocks on a car like this. I believe it's maxing out all of the bump stops. If that's what that is, yep. Not all the way on that one, but the center one, there's one on top of the pumpkin here, and it's definitely maxed out to the max. So, but anyway, that's what I'm doing. There's really no way to film it good for you. I don't have a lift or anything, so. But, yeah, tomorrow I'll get back on it. So, been out here all day making this trans mount. Which is kind of tough to see because there's so much crap out there, but I just got done painting it. I had to jack the trans up, move it toward me, and everything, but it's where it needs to be now. So tomorrow we'll drill some holes through the frame upward, get some grade 8 bolts and some nylock nuts, and that'll be done. Then all we got to get is a yoke for the drive shaft, and cut the drive shaft down, and pretty much everything under the car, except for trans lines. I just remember trans lines. I got to get done, and yeah, we'll be moving on to probably wiring, putting the starter on, wiring, water pump, blah, 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 you know. So this is the trans mount I made yesterday, painted it and everything last night, and I'm drilling my holes today, and smart guy me made these ends out of bed rail, which are notoriously hard to drill because they're really, really stout. I'm just putting 5/8, or not 5/8, 5/16 grade 8 bolts in this, which is plenty. They hold like 6,000 pounds, so I'm not worried about that at all. But again, angle iron is notoriously hard to drill when it's bed frame, and you got to give it some serious downforce. And this drill bit is sharp. It's just, this crap is so hard to drill. So I'm gonna finish that off and go get my bolts and bolt this baby on. I gotta drill frame holes still too. These drill bits are from Drill Hog, by the way, and they're ridiculously good. I've used this bit thousands of times. 3/8 I've used even more than it, and it's still going strong, and 3/8 usually burn out real quick. But this is this actually goes upside down. Again, I've raised it 3/4 to give it a really good pad to sit on and make the engine sort of more level. Well, not level, because you don't want your engine level, but more in the pitch that it's supposed to have, which is like, I think it's 5 degrees, 3 to 5 degrees or something like that. It might not matter as much on a fuel injected car. That's what carbureted cars go for. But yeah, I'm going to finish drilling this and go get some bolts, and we'll be done with the trans mount today. And I can move on to something else. I'm trying to think of what else I got to do under the car. Oh, I got to get trans lines too. Jeez, I hate trans lines. But this is it for now. So we are working on the 55, trying to hammer out anything we can. I do have the water pump and crank pulley on now, thankfully. It actually went real easy. I've just been a lot of stuff going on today for a Monday, and having today off. You know, you got to keep busy. But anyway, let me flip you around here. So you can see, brand new water pump. I painted it black. Crank pulley, painted it black. I've got the thermostat housing and the tensioner pulley painted, well, primed right now. It sucks to clean this aluminum. That's at the point I'm at now. I got to clean everything, and these parts take a long time to clean. I don't have a sandblaster or nothing at my disposal, so I'll have to clean these. I'm going to take and have the alternator checked and the starter checked before I even put them on, because that's just stupid not to. I'll have to get my toolkit from work tomorrow to pull the pulley off. I have a, the power steering pump pulley at work. But the tensioner is in primer. The thermostat housing's been primed. So, gonna let that dry up a little bit. Hit it with the glossed engine black, and we'll continue on with this stuff. I don't know if I'm going to get to it today. I need to get a 4L60E slip yoke so I can cut and weld the drive shaft to make it fit. And got to put the manifolds back on. They're right here. They're already painted. They're in VHT flat black. VHT is all I use on headers because it works amazing. And still got to start putting the Holly system on. But for now, I just got, this is my fuel power. I've already went through all this, but yeah, just trying to get some stuff done. Lord have mercy, my garage needs cleaned, but I am working on putting all the accessories on now. Cleaning, painting, piece by piece by piece. The biggest piece is what I'm working on now. This big old friggin' bracket. It is a pain in the butters to clean and friggin' paint. So many different angles, so many different nooks and crannies. I'm priming her up right now. Keep tripping over this freaking bumper. That's for my cousin. That's from Hook Off Road. We're getting ready to put a bumper on his Jeep. And for you Jeep guys out there, I feel sorry for you. You'll see this video before you see that video. Or, well, you'll see that video before you see this video. Because I am lacking on video right now. So, anywho, my garage is a freaking mess. But we're trying to get some stuff done now that it's spring. You can freely move around and enjoy yourself. Car show season is upon us again. And all this stuff has to be done. So, it's got to get painted gloss black. The alternator and starter for this car was actually trash, so that sucks. but I've cleaned that with acid. I've cleaned that with degreaser. It's just been cleaned a million times. I'm not sure if that thermostat housing is going to work, but we're just going through the motions now. You can see how much more, you know, everything's bolted on. Still quite a bit to do. Still quite a bit. But the good stuff's going to happen once I get the starter on and everything. We can start putting on the Terminator. I've got to put a slip yoke on this car because we don't have one. What else has to be done? I got to cut and weld the drive shaft. Yeah, just a lot of little stuff, and it'll all come together in the end. The owner's bringing me the radiator, an alternator, starter, and a slip yoke this weekend, so, which it's the 22nd, so yeah. But we're just moving along here, just a little piece at a time, lots of cleaning, lots of priming, lots of painting on little bitty parts, so that's where we're at. Alright guys, so I've been just cleaning, but the owner did drop off the radiator and fan for this. I've been cleaning and painting brackets, cleaning and painting power steering pumps. He dropped off the new starter, new alternator, and the slip yoke, but everything's going to plan. Got another build after this one. I actually got 2 more builds after this one. But this is all going pretty good right now. Now that the weather's nice, I got the slip yoke right here for this car. So next weekend I will be pulling a drive shaft out, cutting it to length. I have to figure out what length that is. I'll have to get under there and measure it, which is fun. Cut that yoke. Hopefully, I'm going to try to see if I can't figure out some sort of lathe setup I can use, because I have a lathe. The chuck's kind of broke on it, but if I can figure out a way to set it up to put the drive shaft in there, I can make a lot straighter drive shaft, you know what I mean, than just, you know, kind of rolling it on the concrete and welding it, you know. But that's things to come anyway. But I'm pretty much done for tonight. I'll see you guys next weekend. So I thought this was pretty interesting. This is the factory drive shaft out of the 55. So this is the factory slip yoke, which we believe is a Pontiac 2-speed power glide. That's what it had in it. But check this out. Oh yeah, baby. Look how meaty them teeth are. Now, for instance, what's going on it, this is the same slip yoke you use in a TH350, a 700R4, and a 4L60E. Look at them teeth. Little bitty tiny teeth compared to this monster's teeth. Look at that. Talk about power. Shoot, them cars didn't have any power, 55. But this yoke, again, works for a 350, 700R4, and 4L60E. 80Es are different, and so are the TH400s. So it's a little slip yoke 101. Alright, I had to run out to the parts store. I had to get a combination joint or a bastard U-joint, whatever you want to call them. This one's from Napa. P372. My dyslexia keeps kicking in when I say numbers, but yep, Napa Performer. That's going to go from the TH350 yoke to the drive shaft on the Pontiac. Now, I had to do that now because this drive shaft will be getting cut by me. So, what we do is we usually just take a grinder with an old school, like the thick grinding discs, and we cut around this weld right here, pop this off, and then we'll cut it with a chop saw, and then we will re-weld it. But I need to put that in to slide it into the transmission where I'd like it, and then measure from that joint forward to see how much I need to cut it. But yeah, that's how that works. So now I'm just going to go ahead and pop this one on, which ain't no big deal. And again, these ones have, this is an inner and an outer, which means the outer ones take clips and the inner ones take the little C clips. Yeah, and they give you all the clips for them. The G's and the C's, baby, the G's and the C's. But yeah, he already opened it to double check it. That's all we need, so I'm going to put it together while it rains like crazy. So the drive shaft is all done to the point where I can put it in the car and cut it. I actually do these with a hammer and a socket. Done it that way for years, never had a problem. The newer drive shafts are plastic injected. and you got to heat this crap up till it pops out of there, and then, you know, after that you hammer them out. These ones, old school ones, I usually just heat this up with a torch right here, hammer them out, put the new ones in, hammer them in, done. As long as them bearings don't fall over and you start crushing them. But this is ready to be put in the car and measured to be cut, which I believe is going to be about this much. It's pretty good, if not more. It's a pretty substantial to go from a 2-speed Pontiac Power Glide, which is what I believe it was, to a 4-speed, 4060E. So it could be, heck, it could be down here for all I know. It could be a big, big drop. But I'm also in process of seeing about getting a 6 or 8 inch chuck for my lathe, and I'm going to try to build something to hold the drive shaft like perfectly straight, so that way I can make drive shafts here, because the only other place is like 20 miles away and it's expensive. If I can do them here, I can make more money on my little lathe and, you know, be good to go. But yeah, that one's pretty much good there. You can hear the storm picking up. But I'm done. I'm going to go eat dinner. So last night I cut and welded the drive shaft. Took almost 4 inches out. It was 3 3/4. It's all welded. It's as close as I could get it without, you know, it's a magnet. Without a better chuck, really, on my lathe. But I got it within 1/1000th, so that's the best as I could do. It's a lot better than doing it with a tape measure and trying to get it straight, because, you know, it ain't gonna happen. So today I'm gonna put some parts on this while I wait for it to warm up my garage, and we're gonna work on getting everything basically together. That'll go in today. I got the idler pulley. It's gonna go on the exhaust manifold for this side, which is a hooker header, but it's a cast iron hooker header, is going to go on. I'll get that stuff done, and we'll start trying to get everything else in. I also have the new cold air intake. Sorry about all the other parts here. My Le Mans is torn apart outside. I'm doing a paint refresh and aluminum intake swap, which is hilarious because that bad boy right there weighs like 80 pounds, and that boy weighs like 20 maybe. So it's pretty rough how much the weight difference is from back in the day. But we're gonna get this on real quick and start throwing some parts at this, and I'll cut you on after I get it on, because ain't nothing really special to see here, just putting parts on. Okay, so I ordered a full black cold air intake 4-inch for the wagon, and what I'm considering right now is, will that air box work? I don't think the pipe's long enough to even reach the fender over there, man. It's a really wide car. So I'm going to put together these air intake real quick and see how it actually, like, I guess you would say fits, but not really, because I'm not really technically trying to see if it fits. I'm just technically seeing if it'll do anything I want it to do. Because again, this is for a Silverado. I thought I ordered just a 4-inch, not specifically for a truck, and I would like to have had that or that on it at all. But it's got a really nice textured black paint job on it. Well, it did. And I want to see if I can make it work and look halfway decent. I want to put it on so nothing gets in the throttle body. So I'm going to slap this together real quick, and we'll take it over and take a look. Okay, so here's my first idea. I kind of like this look. If you've ever seen the like 6.2 LSA supercharged, or the Rouse Mustangs or anything like that, their air intakes kind of do that, you know, and it goes kind of over the header, which in this case will actually suck a lot of cold air from right there straight up into it. So it'll be pretty good. It won't be bad at all. I like that for now. So that's going to be fine, and it's not bolted on, it's just sitting there. I just wanted to get a look at where I could put it. The tube is actually too long to put right here in this corner, just like a straight out. I can cut it down, no big deal. Don't really want to. I want to kind of keep it looking, you know, clean. If I cut it, it's going to look weird, because then I'll have to cut that arm off. Then I'll have to cut the tube, and then you'll have an ugly arm. The tube won't matter. You'll never see it. But then I got the radiator because I was a little concerned on spacing. But the radiator actually fits in here because this is for a 55 Chevy LS swap. I hope it's LS swap. The reason why I say LS swap point to this is because it's got to have the little tube, vent tube for the water to go back into the radiator. So that's good, but it fits in here like, I mean, nothing. In fact, it's got plenty of room on both sides. I pushed it all the way to the left to make it a little bit easier to get to the water neck right there. But I'm going to bring it up a little bit, just enough to where you can get your hand in there to get this cap off. And that'll make it a little easier to get that one on, which is like straight down. Probably going to have to get a swivel and just do like an elbow, get some hoses and cut them up. I might take and knock that brace in a little bit just so that radiator can hang out a little bit more. Or can take the brace out and mount it literally out here on the front of the core, which I like that too. And I can just remake these ends, or I can bend them over and just put some bolts in them from, well, I can't do that because I'll have to come from the other side. But yeah, there's many options with the radiator. I am not worried about that at all now because I test fit it. That's why you got to test fit. But yeah, put this pulley on just a minute ago. That's just a new idler. Air intake is pretty much good. I still have to run the throttle cable, which I already got. It's up there with the rest of the other parts. Radiator's going to be fine. I can put it wherever. Hose placement's going to be a little tough. But again, the belt diagram is basically over, under, over, down. I believe it goes down, around, and back. So, not too big of a deal there either, which is nice. So, it's all coming out pretty good, which makes me pretty happy because these are the things you still worry about. The exhaust is going to be easy peasy for whoever does it. The transmission, drive line, everything's perfect. Coil still got to go on. He said he's got another set of valve covers that are custom that I haven't got yet. So, he might be putting them on later because I'm trying to get it done, baby. But, yeah, I still got to do brakes and everything. But, anywho, yeah, I wanted to just get this stuff, you know, figured out right now. So that way I'm not freaking out. But everything seems to be like it's pretty easily to get where it needs to go. And what I'll do is, if that cold air is fine with me, which I can tell the actual cold air is hanging down because it's not tight, it's just sitting there. I'd like to grab it, pull it up. Yeah. Maybe then take, well, look at that. They didn't even paint it all the way. Now I don't feel bad if I had to cut that off. But I'm trying to think of, if I bend this back all the way and sort of turn the pipe a little bit, I can bolt it to right here. Well, there went that screwdriver. It's gone forever. But, yeah. Then I'll just hit that with a little bit of black paint where you can't see it. The only thing that I'm not liking that I just saw is the oil cap is like hidden, but if I pull it up a little bit, yeah, it'll be fine. Still, I mean, it still fits under the hood. Everything would fit under the hood under this car. It is just miles of room. That, don't worry, that don't require a block off plate. That's gonna get a air charge temp sensor that the Holly needs. I had to buy one. It's right here. This is from 269 Motorsports. Whoever they are. I just looked on eBay and found one. I also got lugs, battery ends, battery cable, which, thank you for reminding me. I got black and red because, again, the battery's got to go all the way around. But I didn't check this yet. I need to make sure this is OFC 4 gauge, which would be plenty for a starter. And it's red and black in this pack. Because if it's not, I'll have to get a hold of, who did I get through? Sky High Car Audio. A little difficult to read there, but yep. And then you just stick your finger in, dig its guts out, and we're gonna make sure this has got what I ordered in it. Well, I would. Okay, I see red. I see black. So we're good there. 4 gauge. I mean, it's absolutely the same size as any starter cable, but it's going a little bit further. I ordered red and black, and I ordered it a little bit extra because I want to do the big 3 upgrade while I'm already at it. One, that'll help the Holly to where it's not starving for juice. And 2, this guy likes audio as much as I do. I'm sure he's not going to put freaking 10,000 watts in this car or anything. But I just wanted to get some extra juice from the alternator to the battery and everything. So that's gravy, baby. Ooh, about cut my finger. But yeah. Well, this ain't exactly one. It's just a razor knife. But yeah. Sweetie poochies. We'll throw that away. Yeah, so next step is I need to clean, or should I say I need to wire a wheel and paint with some bed liner that battery box. Find some new bolts, because this had them like wood screw looking bolts in there, and you really can't get them anywhere anymore. I think I still got them in, I've got a cup around here, it's got parts in it over there somewhere. I think I still got them, but yeah, I'd make a nice battery box. But that's what we're doing. Let's get back at it here.